What's going on, internet people? Hope you've been having a splendid day so far. Hope you're well rested, ready to go. If it's the morning time, hope you're ready to go, get your day started. If it's evening time, you're winding down, just want to watch a video, you picked the right one. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that's been pretty popular in the public discourse as of late. It's been a pretty pervasive topic, a pretty dividing topic as well. That is voter fraud. Over the past probably almost a decade now, we've heard countless times from multiple different people how there's so much voter fraud going on, so many issues with dead people voting, all this fraud and rigmarole and bamboozling at the ballot box. So I really wanted to take a deep dive, and what I found was rather interesting because there's a pretty interesting discrepancy that I noticed with some of these actual cases of voter fraud. So with this being an election year, I thought it would be fitting to kind of dig into this topic and show you a little bit of what I've been looking up and what I've found regarding this topic. So let's dive in. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that voter fraud doesn't happen on any scale at all. There are cases where voter fraud has taken place, people voting illegally, things of that nature. And, people have their different reasons for why they did it, what possessed them to vote twice, or what possessed them to vote for somebody else who's not able to vote for whatever reason. So I found a few stories on actual cases of voter fraud that has happened in the past for election cycles. So there are a few stories that I thought I'd bring your attention to regarding this voter fraud. The first one involves a man named Bruce Bartman. Now, Mr. Bartman voted in the 2020 election, and he actually also cast a ballot for his mother. His mother had died in 2008, so how was she gonna vote if he didn't vote for her? He was just doing her a favor in the afterlife. She just needed a vote, and he knew exactly who she was gonna vote for, so can't be too bad, right? So this guy pleads guilty to a charge of felony perjury and unlawful voting. Felony perjury, remember that, felony. According to the Washington Post reporting, he blamed the decision to cast the ballot on consuming too many false claims about the election. Now see, this is where I'm like, I guess you're acknowledging what you did, but it's the fact that you have to blame somebody else for the reason why you did it. And it makes me feel kind of torn, because it's like, on one hand, these people are kind of correct in assuming that, they're being brainwashed, because that is true. When people are really like watching these channels and these conservative right-wing channels nonstop, it does brainwash you in a way. So I kind of feel bad for them in one sense, but it's like, dude, voting for somebody that's dead is illegal. So it's like, why can't you just acknowledge that and just accept the fault for your actions? It's just it's just a difficult thing for me to kind of balance that. But so Mr. Bartman was sentenced to 5 years probation, and he's unable to vote for 4 years. And the judge actually said in the court ruling that he commended him for taking ownership of the crimes, but this crime goes to the heart of our democracy. Is this the adequate sentence for something like this? Maybe, I guess. So actually, prior to him voting for his mom, he had to submit the voter registration and all those forms to the county commission's office or whatever. And he actually did it for his mother-in-law too. And she died in 2019. And he registered them both as Republicans. Then he goes and requests the online ballot for his mother and received it. And her vote was tallied. There's another twist to this. So then, following that, after he's already voted, the county actually catches wind of him doing this. So they see that when you vote, for somebody who's deceased is flagged in the system as they're already dead, so how can they vote? So after he votes for his mother, the system flags his mother's registration because she's already passed away, and he has to sign paperwork stating that she's alive, and he signs it. So it's like already about what, we're up to 3 crimes. So moral of the story, end of the story, Bartman gets arrested on December 18th, and he's charged with 2 felony counts of perjury, 1 misdemeanor charge of unlawful voting. I don't know. I don't really like the way that these prosecutors, they always have different attitudes for different people, and that's going to become clearer as we move through these stories. So just hold on for one moment. Let's move on. This next story is about a man named Edward Snodgrass. This happened in Delaware. He admitted to casting a ballot for his newly deceased father during the 2020 election. This is another case of somebody signing their name on a document that was not for them. So, perjury. And Mr. Snodgrass votes for his father, who just passed away. When he's asked why he did it, he said he was fulfilling his father's wishes by casting a vote for Donald Trump. What a good son, just committing crimes in the name of Trump. But it's not that he said he wanted to fulfill his father's wishes. It's more so that he said he made an honest error. How is this an error? You are casting a vote for somebody you know can't vote. I don't understand how these excuses are flying. Y'all are just casting votes, and y'all know y'all not supposed to be casting these votes. So why are you casting these votes? It's because y'all don't care. You're hypocrites. It's simple. You don't care unless if it's your side winning or it's your side doing the cheating, it doesn't matter. And that's really the problem we have right now. It's just hypocrisy all around. So this guy actually reached a plea agreement, and he pled guilty, and his sentence was a whopping 3 days in jail and a $500 fine. It's the slaps on the wrist for me. Like, these are people who are knowingly committing these crimes, voting illegally. I don't understand it. This next one is a little crazy. This man, Barry Lee Morphew. Oh God. So before he even does any voting stuff, he's actually a suspect in his wife's murder because she went missing. He was charged with murdering his wife. So that's part 1. Part 2. So his wife, Suzanne, goes missing and is reported missing on May 10th of 2020. He's a suspect in the disappearance / murder. And then during the election, he actually votes absentee for his wife and himself. And as you know, they have a little system that flags you if you already voted, or if you're a missing person, or if you're dead, it knows. So it flags him and he gets arrested. So the FBI come and see him and want to ask him questions like, dude, why are you voting for your wife and she's missing and you're a suspect in her missingness? And he literally tells them, I just thought to give him another vote. I just wanted Trump to win. Like, you cannot make this stuff up, bro. So let me get this straight. You possibly killed your wife / know about her going missing. Then during the election, you place a vote for her when you're a suspect in her missingness, and then you tell us you did it because you wanted Trump to win. So how I don't understand how people can actually say that it's not the Republicans that are doing this voter fraud and cheating, because out of all the stories I've found, there are like 95% of them are Republicans. I'm sorry, that's literally the statistics. Not literally, but it's almost the statistics. It's basically majority. So like, it's clearly not an issue. They caught every last one of you. So the system has to be working, right? I would think that's a pretty effective system. Maybe that's just me. And I had another article, but it's pretty much the same stuff. These people just go get ballots in people's names they are not, and then they go vote for those people, and they get caught every time. I don't understand where this voter fraud, this widespread voter fraud, is coming from if it's not from y'all, or if it's not from Republicans, because it's literally from Republicans. Now, the reason I kind of brought up these cases is because I wanted to kind of contrast them with this next one. And it's kind of messed up how it's just a pretty bad discrepancy between, it just goes to show you how there are literally two different justice systems in this country, and it's just so unfair. So I don't know if you have heard of this, you may have, but there's a woman named Pamela Moses, and she is actually the founder of the Memphis chapter of Black Lives Matter, and she's like an activist, and she does a lot of things for the community there. She actually in 2015 pled guilty to tampering with evidence and forgery, and those are both felonies, and a misdemeanor charge of perjury, stalking, theft under $500. So due to this, in the state of Tennessee, because you have a tampering with evidence charge, you cannot vote. If you have that charge, you lose your right to vote. Now, it's just amazing to me how in America, where we're supposed to be, oh, the land of the free, freedom, you have your voice, freedom of speech, you can vote, everybody can vote, citizens. Yet we're still at the point where people who have served their time in jail for a crime, she's served her time, yet she's literally barred from voting in the country that she lives in. She's a citizen, she pays taxes, she can't represent herself. I just don't understand. I thought that was literally what we founded this country on, but I digress. So she actually was placed on probation for 7 years, and as a result of that, she was deemed ineligible to vote in Tennessee. Now, she had been going through the process to figure out how to get her voting rights back. She actually went to the corrections office in her state, in her city, and actually got them to sign off on something that said that she was able to go and register to vote. So she goes to the election commission office and she signs up to vote. She gets registered. They're like, cool, you can register. You're all good. Check you off. You're just, when the election comes, you got it. Just go vote. Come the next day, they say they made a mistake and she wasn't supposed to register to vote. Now, that's fine. That's fine. If you make a mistake, you can own that mistake. So just keep it moving, and then she can't vote. If that's the case, just that should be the result, right? She just shouldn't be able to vote. That's not what happened in this case. So when she goes to register, after she goes to register, she gets charged with illegally registering to vote, after she was told she could go and register to vote. So it's just like, how did y'all really tell this woman that she could register? Y'all are the commission, y'all are the election office, y'all are the people who know. The probation office knows the rules. So if everybody signed off on this for her, why did she get charged with anything? If anything, y'all should have been charged with something. They should have charged the commission. I don't understand it. It's negligence. So when she's in court, the judge she had actually freaking tells her that she tricked the department into giving her the paperwork, as if she's back there typing on the computer like she knows exactly what to do, or she did a Jedi mind trick on these people and made them give her the paperwork. No, they literally told her, two places told her. I don't understand how you can literally charge somebody after two of the authorities are supposed authorities tell you can go vote, and then you get in trouble for doing what they said you could do. It seems like that is entrapment, but not here. So looking at those other cases of all this voter fraud where they actually voted in the elections, like they actually cast ballots and they registered for people who they were not. Miss Moses, how many years do you think she got? She gets sentenced to 6 years and 1 day in prison. 6 years in prison, not jail, not probation, actual prison. And she didn't even vote. She just went to register to vote. And she gets 6 years after all these other people quite literally voted for people in their names. And they get 3 days, a little probation. I don't understand how you can give somebody 6 years, take away 6 years of their life for something that was a clerical mistake. at this point. And it's just amazing to me. When I read this story, I really could not believe that they really gave her 6 years. And the judge sitting here talking about she's the Wizard of Oz, a sorceress, and she's over here manipulating them into giving her the paperwork. Like, how is she tricking y'all? Have y'all ever, she tricked the probation officer? Really? Come on. I don't know. It's stuff like this that it's just further proof that the fight for voting rights has never stopped. Like, we literally stopped hundreds of thousands of people from voting for the simplest, drug crimes of non-violent crimes, and they lose their right to vote for presumably ever, I guess, and it's just really upsetting, because I just feel like we're not moving forward in any way in terms of, fighting this stuff, with gerrymandering and, the ways that these state legislations are really getting into it with, suppressing the vote. It's really scary, because you just feel like nobody's really doing anything. And this is another case of like how the justice system is not going to help you. So it's just depressing. But, we've known this is the way things go here. There's two justice systems. There's one that works for certain people, and there's one that doesn't work for certain people. And you know where you fall in. She's actually appealing this decision, so hopefully there's something that comes of that. They're fighting to get her, I guess, the sentence reduced. I mean, it's stupid as hell. She should get 3 days in jail if y'all want to give her time. I thought in law they had, like, what's it called? I'm an idiot. I took civics class. I know what this is called. Not case law. Freaking, I guess, I don't know. Like, how when they say the cases that happened before, precedent. I'm an idiot. Precedent. Like, you have other cases. Obviously, I just gave you 3. So it's just amazing to me. She didn't even vote. She just registered, and she gets the most time out of anybody who actually cast a ballot. Hopefully she, wins the appeal and something happens and she gets probation or something. But can everybody just vote? If you're a citizen, can we just have the right to vote? I don't understand why people have to make this so difficult. I don't understand why being a felon makes you lose your voting rights. It doesn't make sense. Nobody, if you can explain it to me, let me know in the comments. And if you have any other interesting tidbits or questions, comments on this, let me know in the comments below. I'll keep an eye on this story for sure and make sure to update in a future video possibly, but I think that's all for that. But who knows what's going to happen this year. I mean, we have an election coming up, so I already know we're going to hear about election fraud. So just maybe let's take a step back when we hear all these election fraud stories and stuff like that, and if we actually look into what's actually happened, the actual story is most of the time quite the opposite. So, but I think I'm done rambling on this topic. If you have any comments, if you liked the video, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't like it, dislike it and let me know what I can do better. But until next time, stay frosty, my friends.